So men, why are your relationships really disconnected, tumultuous, full of stress, full of trouble? Why do you feel numb and disconnected and fed up, bored, frustrated with life? Or maybe you really lack purpose and meaning and direction. Or maybe it's the last one, right? Which is about dating. You're single and you don't meet anybody, you don't connect with anybody. And I'll throw in a bonus one. You're a man who's just really struggling to create friendships, right? And the reason why is because you struggle to connect with your feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions are this wild and crazy thing. No, they're not. They are a very normal human experience that we have, that we need, right? It's a way in which we interconnect and connect with each other, whether that's relationships, friendships, purpose, and the world around us. And if we can't connect to those emotions, we feel like we are lonely and excluded from life. So I'm going to explain to you some very simple ways that you can go away today after this. Some of them you can do even during the time I'm talking, right? Which is to connect to your feelings and emotions. So you don't occur as a sort of man who is numb, who is disconnected, that is boring, that is dull, that is, just invisible as well, right? So these are all things that I do myself. I've done myself, my clients do, and I've seen them get results, right? I'm not just reading off a list of things that I've made up. These are things that I've seen people get results using and how it's helped them, right? So the first one is the most important one, right? In my eyes, which is you need to have the language, right? You need to have the language of feelings and emotions, right? You need to have the language, the words to describe how you feel. Because we're always feeling stuff, right? You're constantly feeling stuff. Like now I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I'm even feeling a little bit stressed because I've got to go and pick up Bjorn after I finish recording this. And I don't want to be late to pick him up from nursery, right? I'm always feeling stuff. Now I have really learned to attune to my body and my system to know what that is. But I also have the language, right? So there's something called the feelings and emotions wheel. Now, there's a lot of different versions out there. There's one in particular that I like to use, right? You can just Google feelings and emotions wheel, right? Really useful because then you start to have the language. Now, what most men do is we describe our experience in it as good, fine, okay, tired, bored, frustrated, maybe angry if we're really, and happy if we really allow ourselves to feel that, right? And that's just like a tiny amount of feelings and emotions. There's hundreds on this wheel. And what I often do with clients is I say, how are you feeling? Beginning of the session, how are you feeling? They'll be like, I'm cool, man. Everything's good. And then I'll say, okay, let's try that again. I'll bring up the feelings and emotions wheel and I'll show it to them. And then I say, have a little read over this. Take 90 seconds, take 2 minutes, read over the words. And now tell me how you're feeling, how you've been feeling. And I get a whole different experience from them, right? I get a whole level of depth and nuance, right? And empathy because I can feel them, right? And this is the same thing that happens with the women that you meet, right? With the people that you try and connect with at work. They don't feel you because you don't have the words or you are holding back the words, right? So there's a particular practice I give my clients, which is to spend some time with the wheel and everyday journal, right? Simplest thing to do because you're having feelings and they're occurring to you in your mind, right? That's how they occur to you. Now, number 2, right? How you can get more in touch with your feelings is you have to start feeling your body and its sensations, right? So this comes down to the fact that our feelings and emotions, they occur in our body, right? The feeling when you feel stressed, right? The feeling when you feel fearful, right? You feel those in your body. You might feel it in your chest. You might feel it in your tummy, your belly, tummy. I feel like I'm 5 when I say that. That's where you feel a lot of emotion. Or maybe you feel tension, when you feel stressed, you feel worried, you feel anxiety, you feel inadequate, right? That's a feeling, right? You'll notice that there's a signature. So one of the things is coming back into the body more and more. Right, that's something we have to do. So when you have the language and you have the sensations and you can map those together through some journaling, right? When you're touching on sensations, you really are really on your way to being a really emotional ninja, should we call it? And why is this important? Because from a relational point of view, when I say relational, I mean friendship, romantic relationships, dating, and just connecting with the world, right? Emotions are the currency of the thing that connect us, right? When you hear a good storyteller, he tells a great story, and you listen to the story and you're captivated, right? There's a certain cadence in how he speaks, and he might pause at certain times and so forth. But what he does is he paints you a picture emotionally, right? Bad storytellers, they tell you about facts. They tell you about what happened, what time it happened, the order it happened, right? And they leave out emotions, and they leave out painting a picture. And those people you don't want to talk to very much, because it's boring, right? Our mind switches off, right? And I'm talking to a lot of men about this in dating, and how it's just, it turns women off because it's boring. It's like going to the supermarket and someone reading out their shopping list. Whereas, and this could be such a good exercise as I think of it now, if I gave you a shopping list, you created your shopping list and you read it out word by word, and then I told you, tell me a story about the shopping list. What's the story? What are you trying to make? What's that connected to for you? It's a very simple thing, right? But it gives you a load of words and tell me a story. Like maybe this is an order you're doing and you're trying to cook a meal for your family, your friends. Tell me a story about that. Let me feel you, because this is what we need to be felt. So language, feeling in the body, two most important ones. Another one you can do is just free writing, right? Free writing it doesn't come from The Artist's Way, but it's popularized by The Artist's Way, a book which is for creatives and artists, really, about just writing out and dumping your thoughts on a piece of paper for, I think it's 3 sheets of A4 or a certain amount of time, right? You just vomit all your thoughts out, thoughts and feelings, right? Why is this useful? A, it clears your mind, right? But also you get used to writing the words out, the feelings, the expression. You get used to writing out your own expression. What I notice with men who struggle in dating, struggle with emotions, are they don't express themselves very much. So writing it out is a very good place to start, because it's private. No one's going to hear you. No one's going to see you. You can burn it afterwards. You can throw it in the bin. You can keep it. It's really up to you. It's akin to keeping a journal as well. Okay, the next one, right, which is actually speaking, communicating your thoughts and your experiences. Again, another really common thing that I see with men who struggle emotionally is they don't talk. They don't talk very much. They don't talk about their feelings, and they don't talk about their experiences often. There's a lot of them that I meet. I meet some who are, highly successful, and they talk a lot, and they talk very logically, right? But a lot of the men I meet, they just don't open up. They don't open their mouths and express themselves to people, right? So this is something you've got to start doing more. So that's one. The next one here is actually listening. Now you're going to think, why do I need to listen more? And I mean, you're going to say I listen anyway, but you need to listen more intently, right? More keenly. Yeah. So you're listening for the feeling in what people are describing, right? Both what they say they're feeling and what you feel they're feeling or imagine they're feeling. This is a really important aspect, because when it comes to we getting into conversation that is connected and deep and playful and so forth, practicing noticing what people are feeling becomes really important, because when you can listen to someone tell a story about their child and you can go, I'm feeling that you feel sad, you feel disappointed, you feel frustrated, but there's also a level of pride. They'll be like, yeah, actually, yeah, thank you. I hadn't really noticed that, or they might have said it, so it's really obvious, right? But it means that you're listening, and you can take the conversation deeper into places that are emotional instead of just factual, right? Now we're getting to a few more, right? So this next one is really about slowing down. Slowing down can come in the form of meditation. It can come in the form of what I just did there, realizing I'm talking really fast and slowing down. and pausing more and sitting more without distraction, right? Whether that's phone, laptop, whatever you're using to distract yourself. Slowing down and pausing. There's a practice that I got from a program I was on a number of years ago, which was to spend an hour every week just sitting and doing nothing. Eyes open, no meditation, sit and do nothing. Part of slowing down, not feeling like you have to do something every minute of the day, every hour. So once a week doing that. And it was really powerful for me. It's like really, you slow down when you just sit and you're looking out a window and you've got nothing you need to do. You take that hour, slow down. You can even slow down how you walk will make a difference. Because when you're rushing constantly, your mind is constantly focusing on the next thing and you're not being present to what's occurring here and now. Yeah? Next one is about distraction, which is connected to the last one, but it's more acute and more obvious with the distraction. So it's like we are often distracted. We distract ourselves with work, phones, drugs, drink, you name it, vaping, right? We are distracting ourselves constantly, right? So it's like, oh, I can't just sit here for a moment, and we can't even just watch TV. TV is another distraction. We can't even just watch TV. We hold our phone while we watch TV, you know? We're texting while we're watching TV. We're on Instagram while we watch TV. And so it's part of the slowing down is this reducing these distractions of drink and drugs and just being with our experience of now, right? That can feel uncomfortable for us, right? But one of the things you need to do, and this is the next point, nervous system regulation practices. Now, what does that mean? We become dysregulated sometimes, right? We are fight or flight, or we become into kind of a shutdown state, right? Fight or flight is very normal. You feel stressed. You feel anxious. You feel on high alert. You feel like you're going to need to run out the room or fight the donkey, right? Whenever we're going to fight a donkey. And this can happen at work. And some of us, this can happen at work. It can happen in our relationships. It can happen in our homes. This state of being on like antsy. You can feel this buzz. Now, one of the things that's occurring more and more in modern times is that people are operating in this fight or flight just stuck there. You know, they're not really relaxing. They're not really coming into a kind of parasympathetic rest and social engagement energy, because they're stressed all the time, although we're on our phones all the time, and we're being dysregulated by the polarizing news, the angry Instagram posts by everybody. We're getting dysregulated by all this anger and very heavy emotion constantly, right? So what we need to do is then do practices that can bring us more into this relaxed social engagement kind of system. And it can be anything from light breath work, walking in nature. I like to do embodiment practices, movement practices, certain types of dance, you know, body scans, yoga nidra, yoga, all these things regulate our nervous system. They bring us down, right? Because when we're regulated, we have more access to our feeling and emotional capacity. When we're not regulated and we're stressed and we're flooding with emotions, right? Our brain starts to shut down and amygdala starts to take over. Yeah. So it's coming into this like, safety. Some of it's safety. And being able to like be with what's there. And then we have more capacity to feel our emotions. Because if you're in a relationship where you're constantly stressed, constantly fearful, right? Your partner's going to leave you, or they're going to shout at you, or they're going to have an argument with you. Probably you're constantly in this kind of fight or flight. And you know, two things you can do. You can start to regulate your nervous system with practices, regular practices. It's not like a one and done. You want to be doing it daily, multiple times a day, the different practices. And you want to deal with the underlying and root problem. That might be a relationship. It might be your reaction to what's happening in a relationship, your responses, what's happening in a relationship. It might even be your underlying childhood wounding and trauma, right? And the last one I'm going to mention today is kind of subconscious work. So what I would call like inner child work, shadow work, inner critic work, you know, even attachment work, anything that's kind of dealing with what's on the underlying, right? So shadow work is looking at what's in your shadow, the things that you've repressed, rejected, suppressed, shamed yourself for, right? Some of us, we've shamed ourselves for emotions. We have said that if we feel and express how we feel, people will mock us, laugh at us, chastise us, and we'll lose face. Some of us, when we were kids, we expressed feeling and emotion and we were punished. Maybe we were angry, we got punished, and we learned that we should never show any feeling and emotion. Or maybe we felt that our parents only loved us if we were okay. If we were too happy, they weren't happy with us. And if we were too sad, they weren't happy. So we kind of suppress those feelings and emotions. So the work there is to unlock that stuff so that you can bring that into the now, bring that into the day, bring that into the light story, and start to have more access to those parts of ourselves, right? You can add in IFS work and therapeutic work into this kind of bucket, like things that get to the underlying, the subconscious, the emotional body as well. Because if you don't do this work, you're still going to have a limited range of feelings and emotions to get access to. Right. So I'm going to summarize those. I said getting the language, getting in contact with the feelings and emotions. So the sensations in the body, free writing. right? Writing down, actually speaking about what you're feeling, listening to other people. I think you're at 5 now. Slowing down. Yeah. Stop distracting yourself. Nervous system regulation, and inner child and inner work, right? This inner work, not just reading about inner work. That's an important thing. We do this reading thing. Let me watch David's podcast. He's talking about, now I know about inner child work. I've done inner child work because I listened to a podcast about inner child work. No, you didn't. You just listened to a podcast about it. Inner child work, you sit down. It might be meditations. It might be journaling. It might be prompts. And that's just surfacing the information. And you realize that, oh, as a child, I wasn't allowed to play. So then you need to put into action like, oh, I'm going to consciously take time to play. That might be dance. That might be going to the park and playing on the swings. Then that's the work. And then afterwards, journaling about how it felt to let yourself play. And it might sound really stupid, but this is homework I've given my clients before. Go to the park, go on some swings and play, right? And they go and they play and they're like, I felt uncomfortable playing because the memories of being told off come up to me, or I felt stupid. And then through time of the dancing and playing, they're like, I've got access to so much more freedom and play in my body, in my system. And my dating is going better. My relationship is happier. I'm meeting new people because I've got more access to a self-expression, right? So that's actually doing the work. Thinking about it, reading about it, watching podcasts about it is not doing the work, okay? Just to be clear, because I think a lot of us think we're doing the work and all we're doing is listening a lot about stuff. So if you're interested, I've got a program coming up. It's going to be starting in the new year, but I'm starting to take a wait list for people. The wait list is down below, about people who really want to do this sort of work, because I've got a program for men I'm developing, which is really about looking at how we bring ourselves to the world and how we can be mature, open, connective, masculine men in this world, right? In a world that makes us feel that we can't be masculine, we can't be assertive. And actually, what the world needs is for good men to be assertive in the world. That's what the world needs. So I'm going to really be going deep into that, touching on the inner work that we talked about, touching on the outer work, the language, the slowing down. It's all going to be in there. It's all going to be embodied into the program. So that's coming up. So people who are on the wait list will get, a discount and bonuses as always. That's how I always work. People who are willing to put their flag in the ground early will always benefit in my world, because most men don't do that because we're too scared to, right? So if you're the sort of man who has courage to step forward and make a change in 2026, how is it even 2026? Then go to the wait list, put your name there, and you'll get an email soon about what the program's going to look like and what you can get out of it. All right. Tell me what you thought of the episode. What are you taking away? What's something that you are going to go and do today, right, out of what I said? Where do you struggle to express emotions in your life? People, places, instances. Tell me in the notes down below. If you're on YouTube, or say if you're on Spotify, you can leave comments. Cheers. Ciao, ciao.